According to a guy called Dave Meltzer, a wrestling writer supposedly known for his reliability on pay-per-view numbers, Fury Ngannou only did about 11,000 pay-per-view buys in the United States, as well as an additional 52,000 streams on ESPN+. Now, if this is true, then it is an absolute disaster. Fury Ngannou was supposed to be like Mayweather-McGregor, that type of event. To put it in perspective, Mayweather-McGregor did nearly 5 million pay-per-view buys in America. 5 million. Now, I certainly didn't expect Fury Ngannou to do that much, but I thought it would do way better than 11,000. Or let's call it 63,000 if you count the streams on ESPN+. Now, we haven't yet heard the pay-per-view numbers on TNT Sports in the UK, but if they're anything like the alleged American pay-per-view numbers, we probably never will hear about them. That's not something that Frank Warren would want to advertise. But getting back to this Dave Meltzer guy, the first question I asked myself about him was, is this guy a friend of Dana White? Because Dana White was obviously hoping that Fury Ngannou would flop. He wants to avoid a mutiny at UFC. He doesn't want more of his top fighters leaving to join, I don't know, the PFL or try their hand at professional boxing when they're still at the top of their game in the UFC. He wants them to believe that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Now, we hear that Ngannou was paid something like 10 times more for the Fury fight than he got for his last UFC fight. However, if these pay-per-view numbers are to be believed, then the chances of Ngannou getting a lucrative rematch with Tyson Fury would seem unlikely. Yeah, we know the Saudis have got a lot of money, and a rematch probably would generate more interest than the first fight because people don't see it as a mismatch anymore. But that first fight was extremely expensive. I mean, the production was incredible. God only knows how much the Saudis spent. It would seem that the primary objective of them putting on events like this is to reshape the image of their country. But surely they want to try and make some money back, a decent amount of money back. If these pay-per-view numbers are to be believed, would they really want to take another massive financial loss? Do they think it would be worth it? Again, all of these what-ifs are predicated on these pay-per-view figures being accurate, and we're not privy to the TNT Sports UK pay-per-views. To add some further perspective, Jake Paul claimed that his loss to Tommy Fury sold over 800,000 pay-per-view buys, and Canelo Alvarez versus Jamel Charlo was reported to have done about 700,000. For Tommy Fury, Tyson's little brother, to do more pay-per-views than him, not just more, but massively more, would be absolutely incredible, mind-blowing. Yes, we know that before the fight, Fury Ngannou was perceived by most people to be a complete mismatch, but still, they're apparently two big names. If these numbers are to be believed, did the Saudis, Frank Warren and Bob Arum, ESPN, etc., anticipate that they were going to be this low and therefore prematurely announce the signing of the Usyk fight in order to get the public back on their side? Because there was a massive backlash against Fury Ngannou when it was announced. Was the subsequent announcement of the Usyk fight during the build-up to Fury Ngannou done for PR purposes? You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are these numbers accurate or not? Was it a financial disaster for the Saudis? Or is it a false rumor being spread by one of Dana White's associates? I'm not claiming to know one way or the other, but I'll be watching the actions or the inaction of Bob Arum and Frank Warren to try and gauge whether or not there's any truth to it. If there's no truth to it and the numbers are actually much higher, then surely Bob Arum or Frank Warren will give us some indication of that without necessarily giving us a specific figure. For example, they might say it did better than a previous Tyson Fury pay-per-view that we do know the numbers for, which will allow us to get a ballpark estimate. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below.